Good evening.
And welcome to Karmat Does the Washing Up.
I'm Shai Telly.
And I'm Ilyas.
And today I wanted to talk to you about envy, because I think envy is the governing force behind everything that we've ever done as a civilization.
Everything we've ever done.
There's
no other motivation.
There's no other motivation. I think all the art we've ever produced, envy. All the literature, all the music, envy. All the advances we've made in terms of technology, envy. Medical advances, envy. Everything we've ever done, based on envy.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think envy gets the credit it deserves.
The credit. But so you're saying that envy is actually very positive because it's caused all this.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I think envy is the principal driving force behind creativity. Like, people say that Virginia Woolf maybe had bipolar disorder, or we associate madness with creativity. I think it's all envy.
It's all envy.
Yeah.
Like, as in, Virginia Woolf made the work because she envied another writer, and then we use our envy of Virginia Woolf to make better work.
Yeah, and I think that's true in literature, I think that's true in paintings, and all forms of art, but I also think it's true in technology, in medicinal advances, it's true in our daily lives. We're maybe envious of our neighbour, so we work harder to get a better house or something. I think envy is the driving force behind everything that we do.
So we have, in medicine, we want to feel better because we envy the health of somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And then in order to make the medicine, what's the envy to make the medicine? The medical industry, what's the envy behind governing that?
No, so it's driven by envy. It's driven by,
people's desire. They just...
Yeah, people's desire to feel better.
Okay, but what is the medical system as a whole? It's just feeding the desires of the masses.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then there's something else involved other than envy in that, feeding the desires of the masses.
Why? What is the other thing?
Well, it's a market-based phenomenon, right?
Yeah, but I think the main driving source in the market is envy.
Okay, yeah, but there's still something that has to supply the envy, right? Which is not envy.
No, but I'm saying that scientists themselves looking for the cure are driven by envy.
Okay, yeah.
Because they want to be the first ones to discover
the science. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm saying that the people creating the drugs are driven by envy, and obviously the people buying the drugs are also driven by envy. Because they want to be feeling better than...
But then that means the whole system is just driven by envy, or is there something? There's nothing else in that system.
I mean, but you're implying that maybe there's an innate desire to help people, or a desire to, learn more.
No, I don't think so. We haven't got that yet. I don't think.
Yeah. But maybe there's a desire for intelligence or something like that. But I definitely think it's just driven all by envy.
Yeah, but I mean, you can. Yeah, the desire for intelligence can just be
from envy.
From envy. Yeah. Well, it's a pretty bold statement.
You think it's that bold?
It's bold, but it's really not that hard to buy into. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but also, I mean, if you look in our daily lives, like a lot of decisions we make are driven by envy. Like, I want to run a better charity, so I'll look at our competitors and look at what they're doing, and then use that to make mine better.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily need to be envy. That's a process which could be driven by a whole range of things. It could be driven by an inferiority complex. Well, I guess that's
envy, right? Yeah.
No, but it can be an inferiority complex without being envy, right?
No, but I mean,
it can also be driven by like a kindness or a genuine altruism. It can be driven by. There's so many things that process could be driven by.
So yes and no. I think if it's an inferiority complex, then that is kind of envy based. Because if you do feel inferior to someone, there is some sort of envy there. That does create the space for envy to exist.
But you don't necessarily want to feel equal to them or superior to them. You maybe just feel inferior to them. I think a lot of these complexes actually exist because you want to maintain that sort of space of like self-torture. But I think there can be...
Yeah, but even if it's out of kindness, I just think the principal driving force is often envy. Like, there may be secondary forces like kindness.
Okay.
I just think envy is the principal driving force behind almost everything that we do. I would say everything that we do.
Shit.
Like, even us making this podcast, maybe we were envious of other people with podcasts, and we decided to make our own podcast.
Yeah.
Well, part of the reason why we don't listen to any other podcasts is because maybe we're envious of their sound quality or something.
Okay. But then... Yeah.
But that doesn't...
I do listen to other podcasts. And
but that doesn't necessarily drive us to make our sound quality better or anything.
No, but I think I listen to other podcasts in order to make a better podcast out of envy.
Out of envy, yeah, exactly.
And you don't.
Yeah, because I don't want to be out of envy. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to listen to other podcasts because it might... Yeah, but I do generally think we just don't give envy enough credit.
I think I noticed this actually in myself when I first got sick. And
were you envious of those that were healthy?
Yeah, and I would just look at people on the street. I didn't understand their internal architecture or anything, but I would see people behaving in a way which just appeared very carefree and very. And I guess because I was sitting still, I just became very aware of like the thoughts and feelings that I had arise in my body, and I realized envy was something that came up quite a lot.
Yeah. Also, it's a very powerful energy, right?
It's hugely powerful, yeah.
Yeah, it does take over a lot. But also, similar for me, like, my father was always ill when I was growing up, and I would be envious of those kids whose fathers would take them out to play football or, didn't have ill fathers. But it is something that you do eventually get over. Like, I do think you do eventually get over envy.
Wait, that goes completely contrary to your theory. You're basically saying everything is driven by envy, but you overcome it. Oh, so you die? Is that death?
Pretty much.
Death is the overcoming of envy.
Yeah. Well, it might not be death, but it might be contentment, and then all of a sudden you don't create as much as you did before.
But then you still exist, so then the governing force of life can't be envy.
I didn't say... Right, it's the driving force behind everything that we achieve.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think...
So then it's not the basis of life, unless we say... Well, it depends what is
But it is kind of the basis of life as well, right? Like natural selection, for example, or natural inclusion. Yeah.
No, natural inclusion can't be based on...
Yeah, by natural selection.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, no, but what you're saying is achievement or progression is based on envy.
Yeah,
if there is an achievement or progression, there isn't envy. Is that what you're saying?
So if there's no achievement or progression, then there isn't envy,
No. But then can life exist without progression or achievement?
Well, I don't think so, because I suppose the meaning of life to most people is progression and achievement. And even if you look at people who are content, they are still envious.
Generally content, they're still envious. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I suppose there's never a point when we do stop achieving or progressing. Apart from death. Maybe, okay, fine. So the end point of when you finally overcome envy, you die.
You die, okay. So, the yogi mentality, the meditation thing, that's still very achievement focused, right?
Yeah, it's still very achievement focused. Yeah. And also, yogis are often envious of other yogis.
Yeah, or just the idea of contentment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't actually know what the holes in this are. But how do you come to the conclusion that the governing force is envy as opposed to, kindness? Or
well, I just look at every decision I'd ever made in my life, and obviously I have a charity and I work in a hospital, professions that require one to be kind. But I didn't think the driving force behind my successes in those professions were down to kindness. I thought it was down more to envy.
Yeah. I don't know if they do actually require you to be kind.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a...
But there's considered a strong sense of giving.
Yes, exactly. And altruism or something like that. But even if we don't think about it in a professional context, even a personal context, a lot of, my fashion choices are governed by envy, or my choices, in choosing a girlfriend or a partner, driven by envy. I think envy does play a role in every aspect of our life. Even my food choices in a restaurant are often governed by envy, because I'll be looking over at someone else's and be like, oh, that does look fantastic.
So is there any way of transcending this? Is there any way to move past
that's kind of what I wanted to discuss. So how does one transcend envy? There is that, we said, we touched on, yogis do say that they don't believe in envy and stuff, but I don't think that's true.
But I think that, really what you're saying is this is not something possible to transcend. You're saying it's like a physical, natural law, or a human law. Yeah. That is it's the governing force, so we just got to accept it. It's so intrinsic. There's no way to move out of it. Or is there? Is there a path out of envy?
Well, I don't think there is. But if we are aware that there's no path out of it, then we need to be harnessing it to its full potential. So instead of transcending it, why don't we just harness it? And I think we do kind of do that, right? As a society, we do kind of, the space race between America and Russia. like that envy did lead to space exploration, right? Like as a society, when we combine our envy, we do sometimes.
Are you not just talking about? What you're really saying is that the basis of the universe is competition, and the driving force of competition is envy. Right?
So
no?
So I am kind of saying it's competition, but I suppose my thing is that I don't know, but I think so. If everything is competition, then that is driven by envy. But I'm saying that envy drives us in ways that we never thought of before, like even in our creative outputs, in everything, in every decision that we ever make.
Yeah,
I don't think Picasso would have been there if he wasn't envious of other people's work.
But okay, what is the difference? Yeah, because the thing is, what you're saying is there is an ambition to achieve something that you don't have, right? So that's ambition.
Yeah.
But the envy is governed on, it's a possession over something else.
Yeah.
So then it's the competition. Yeah. It's a competitive. But it's driven by a desire for somebody else to not have something, right? That's what, or is that?
No, but it's driven more to be part of something, to have something yourself, not to take that away from others. I mean, that's at least my understanding of what I'm trying to achieve, right? Yeah, I don't want to take away from other charities' work. I just want to have a slice of that pie. Do
you know what I mean? Is this like, maybe this is connected to the idea of having, whether it's like kind of religious texts or superhero movies or whatever, we have like ideals that we wish to aspire towards.
Yeah.
And we're trying to create or cultivate the self in a way that moves to that. And this whole system of archetypes or ideal selves that are built into our society, are they the things that just exist to foster envy?
Yeah. Well, I think there is kind of that, though, isn't there? We do create these ideological, almost superior beings that we've got no way that we could ever cater to, like become.
But then having said that, we aspire towards it.
Yeah, but we aspire towards it. But then having said that, there are superheroes that are flawed characters. We don't always create perfect beings, do we? Okay. Like we do try and create, we try to create God in our own image, don't we? But maybe we make him flawless rather than flawed.
Well, I think to some degree, we at least with superheroes and all this is because we want to be able to connect to it to the point that it becomes attainable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if you watch a superhero movie, there's always a real humanness to everyone, and there's always a flaw because it's trying to say that, you're not... It's not impossible for you to get to this kind of place. It's like, it's an ideal self which is impossible, but it's worth striving for.
No, I agree. And actually, but what I'm really saying is... obviously I'm saying all of those things, but what I'm really saying is, if you want to create, a really fucking good novel, it's not enough to have a desire to create it. You have to be jealous of somebody else's novel, to be envious of that novel, and then that will fuel your novel. So what I'm saying, if you want to create a great piece of art, you have to be envious of other pieces of art, and then use that to fuel your desire to create a piece of art. It's not enough to just want to be able to create something.
But you're also saying that it's not possible to just want to create something. That doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. So the only reason for that to exist is for you to have envy.
No, what do you mean that exists? No, I'm saying that it's what you're saying is that envy is the basic law of
everything.
Of everything.
Yeah.
So there isn't a possibility to just create something for wanting to create it.
No, exactly.
It's not that it's not enough.
No.
It's just it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
or maybe it's not enough in a very quantum level.
Yeah. Yeah. No, But what I'm saying, the driving force behind that initial wanting to create something is envy.
Okay.
And if you really want to create something good, you have to maximize that envy.
Well, you maximize the envy to its point.
Yeah.
So
you harness the energy in the envy.
Okay. So the more we envy, so we actually should feed envy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So if envy is intrinsic, then we should feed it to its maximum point.
This is genius.
You think it's genius? I don't know.
I don't know if it's genius. I don't know
if it's radical. I mean, maybe it's slightly radical. Everyone's telling you to get lose envy.
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah, it's radical in the sense that nobody's ever said, "Oh, I really want to be more envious." You should be more envious of him. You should be more envious.
Well, I don't know why it's so frowned upon. I think envy should be something that it's cherished.
Well, it's also it's the basis of envy is complete ingratitude for, and I don't know. I'm very pro the state
the idea of
gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, but it's really just saying, I'm really unhappy with my situation. You know what I want? I want that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I want that chocolate bar, that shiny motherfucker.
Yeah. No, but it's also kind of saying that, you know, like a lot of times we're thankful to God when really we should be thankful to envy.
So, okay, so then I guess obviously the next question is God envious? Is God envious of us?
I mean, no, but I'm just saying God is just envy.
Yeah, God is envy.
God is envy.
I mean, that's the...
Because if God is the underlying energy within all of us, then it's just envy. So God is envy.
So, yeah. So envy is the thing that brings everything into being.
Yeah, pretty much. And envy is the one thing that we all share.
Okay, but what is it? What are the things that are envying each other?
What do you mean? Like, do you think
like
that our liver is envying our lungs, for example?
Yeah, exactly. So
so in every relationship there is a state of envy.
Okay.
Like even between us and, you know, a butterfly. Like everything that we interact with, there is a state of envy there.
Okay, and that supports the theory of evolution.
Yeah.
That, you know, like, every species envies another in order to become its great, like...
exactly.
Higher self,
Yeah, and also if we envy each other, then maybe we'll reach a higher self within us.
Okay. So within this, is there an idea of, like, enlightenment, and enlightenment can be attained by capitalizing on the envy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously...
because envy is generally speaking, when you experience envy, or you're consciously experiencing envy, it feels unpleasant, right?
Yeah.
It's an unpleasant state.
Yeah, but it does drive you to do something to get rid of that state.
Yeah. But will that as a basis of... But what I'm saying is it's an uncontented state, right?
Yeah, but can it lead to contentment?
Yeah, in terms of the actual... You know, the idea of enlightenment is to transcend all of this kind of nonsense or this materiality. But is it possible that we could use envy to its apex to the point that it begins to transcend everything else?
But it can transcend everything else, but not envy.
It can never transcend envy. Because
you can never get out of an envious state.
Okay. So, but that's where all the suffering comes from, then, surely. The suffering all comes from
envy.
Yeah, and all the productivity comes from envy.
Yeah.
But what about the joy? Does all the joy come from envy?
Yeah, I suppose joy does come from when you not so much overcome envy, but when you surpass. You surpass, like, somebody else. Or you create something, right? You utilize that envy to create something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just mimic. Well, it's just like attaining a goal.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The joy comes from attaining the goal.
But it will be short-lived, obviously, because then more envy will come and you'll want to do more.
So you're saying basically the happiest people alive are those in a Quentin Tarantino film?
Essentially. No, I'm saying the happiest people alive are ones that maybe, you know, they acknowledge that they're envious of others and try and harness that envious energy.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, I guess maybe just a self-awareness and an honesty of that is, like, really powerful.
Yeah, but in the same way that we try and suppress sadness, I think for a long time before that we've tried to suppress envy. Like, a lot of people are telling you that, you know, it's fine to be sad, but you should try and focus on being happy or whatever. But no one's ever telling you to be more envious, right? And we touched upon that earlier. I think it's the emotion that we've least respect for, when really it governs everything.
But I think that, there's a big difference between saying it should be, you know, kind of accepted and we should be honest about it, and the other thing is saying we should feed it.
Yeah, I think we should feed it. I think so. I mean, also, how can people suffer any less? We're suffering so much anyway as it is, and we're not even feeding into envy, or we're trying not to. So if we feed it into the envy, I mean, it may lead to more suffering, but I don't think it will.
There is definitely a world in which there could be more suffering than there is now.
Yeah, okay.
This is not the total amount of suffering.
Yeah, but
for every person involved.
I agree, but we're still not living in, like, the happiest state of existence that we could do. So maybe if we took a risk and fed into envy,
this is the worst logic in the world. Like, it's just like, well, we're not living in the complete Luciferian abyss of inferno. We might as well just fucking throw our, like...
I don't know. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to feed envy. I mean, it might result in us creating... It might result in me writing, like, the best novel of all time. I mean, I doubt it, but it might do.
But I don't think you care that much about writing. Like, your envy is probably not for writers. You just want their lifestyle, so you're just like...
Yeah, exactly. My envy
you're just buying
totally motivated lifestyle-wise.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just think... I don't think we give envy the credit it deserves, and obviously maybe I'm going overboard in my love of envy and my worship for it. But I do think it plays more of a role in our life than we're willing to give it credit for.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely agree with that. It gives us more than we. But I don't think I like the idea. I just don't think it's something we should be feeding. I think it causes a lot of. I mean, we're in all this. We're assuming a certain degree of free will.
Yeah, well, we're not discussing free will.
I'm not discussing free will. We're not discussing free will. But what you're saying is that we have the opportunity to feed. You're saying envy. We don't have a choice in whether envy is the governing force of the universe, but we do have a choice in which to feed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually that does have a basis in free will.
Yeah. I think it's important to say that we can actually feed the envy.
Yeah.
But we can't move outside of the envy. We can give it a small amount of energy, or we can give it a large amount of energy.
Yeah.
So then, if we give it a small amount of energy, where does the other energy go to? Like, can we give other things energy? Can we give kindness energy? Does it exist?
I mean, but we do try, don't we? We do try and insert that energy into other things.
But does it always fail? Like,
I don't know if it always fails, but I think I think that we achieve more when we give energy to envy.
Okay, but is this idea of kindness, is kindness actually just underpinned by envy itself, or is it a different energy that has a place in the universe?
I think kindness does have an energy in the universe, but a lot of what people think is kindness is actually envy.
Okay.
And I think there's truth.
I think that's definitely
like you go to any homeless shelter, and a lot of people are there volunteering are driven by envy rather than kindness.
Yeah. Or like just to envy the idea of being a good person.
Yes, exactly. We're envious of people who we consider to be good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of kindness is driven by envy, and I think a lot of everything is driven by envy.
Okay. But there's still a kindness that exists in the universe. It's just quite small in terms of...
It's just smaller than what we think it is.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty...
You're on board with it?
I'm on board. I'm down with it, but I don't think it's better to feed the beast of envy over the beast of kindness.
Well, I mean, if anyone is listening, let us know. Let us know if you're going to start feeding envy after listening to this.
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, everybody's obviously envious of this podcast. We know that. This, wildly,
informative.
Yeah, informative, of course. Which tells everybody to just be more envious. I
don't know. I don't think it's.
I think this. It's just because you want people to envy our following, so it goes.
Oh no! I'm telling you, being envious will lead to more advances in human civilization.
Yeah, but what also the issue is.
No, but by advances, I do also mean spiritual advances. I mean every kind of advances.
But the spiritual advance is to get to a point in which you are you are beyond these kind of ideas of envy. That's what a spiritual advancement. I mean, isn't that really what we talk about?
No,
it's a seven deadly sin, right?
Yeah, no, I do respect that the idea of enlightenment would be to transcend envy. But if we're not even if we're not even harnessing envy's full potential, we'll never be able to get into a space where we can transcend it. We don't even know what envy is capable of because we're so busy trying to suppress it.
But yeah, there's a difference between suppress and transcend.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't think you need to you don't need to take envy to its apex. To its apex in order to transcend it.
Well, the only way to transcend it is to know its full power.
I mean, I guess you've got to go through it.
You got to go through it. Yeah, you got to go through it to achieve the other side, right?
Yeah, but you go through it, but not necessarily all of it. Not the total. You can just accept the envy that exists in your body now. You're just very honest with the intentions behind your action. But that isn't that when you notice that 90% of your actions were governed by envy, to feed that energy is a different. I struggle to see how that's going to take us closer to God.
I mean, well, let me try it, and I'll let you know.
I'll
try it, and I'll let you know.
We're nothing but experiment.
Exactly.
But I feel like I'm going to get in the crossfire. You're just going to be envying
everyone.
Well, no, me. I don't care about other people. It's just I don't like the envy that... I think that would cause rifts in our friendship.
Do you think so?
And the podcast, yeah.
No, I think we've got to... No, you're not understanding envy enough. You're... Just let me feed my envy.
Okay, yeah, feed your envy.
Well, I'm going to find out what I'm envious of first, and then I'll feed into that, and I'll see where it takes me.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. You're committed?
Yeah, of course.
But are you as committed to, becoming obese? Because you look like you've lost some weight.
No, that was last season. New season.
New season is
New envy. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be so tiring.
Shut up.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.